Financial support for the production of Issues in Education is provided by the Florida State University License Plate. Your FSU license plate supports scholarships for students who enrich and contribute to our communities. Special programs, gift certificates, and rebates for first-time buyers online at fsu.edu/mytag.
Coming up today on Issues in Education, 7 days of opening nights. We go inside the annual Fine Arts Festival at Florida State University and the very important educational components that are part of the event. Welcome to Issues in Education. I'm Suzanne Smith, alongside my co-host, Florida State University President Dr. Eric Barron. September kicks off the first performances of the 7 days of opening nights 2013-2014 season, and many, many more performances are coming over the next several months. Joining us to talk about those events and the educational aspects of this Fine Arts Festival is the Director, FSU alumnus, Christopher Heacox. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
So the festival's 15 years old, but you're talking about this as a much longer history, 92 years.
That's correct. There are actually 92 years of performing arts presenting on campus at Florida State University. 7 days of opening nights encompasses a small part of that, but it dates back to the early 20s when we were the Florida State College for Women, and John Philip Sousa was actually our first performing artist here on campus.
Amazing.
It is amazing.
Well, and 7 days has always really been more about 7 days. So why is it sort of expanding beyond the 7 days?
So originally 15 years ago, when it was 7 days of opening nights, it really was never 7 days. The idea was 7 days. I think it was around 9 days. And so there are two things that happened. The demand increased in our community for more entertainment, which makes it spread out over a longer period of time. So the festival is actually 14 days now. And also the demand for different artists that just can't come here during that February time span. So it really is our whole calendar here on campus, which is September through April.
Are you calling it now a season instead of a festival, or is it both?
Yeah, it's a series with a festival in February.
But you don't want to lose your branding of 7 days.
No, everyone knows what 7 days of opening nights is, so it's good to keep that so everyone knows what we're doing.
And this is quite different. If I remember this right, last year, what you were doing, you'd inherited.
Correct.
And this year is all yours?
This year is all mine.
How does that feel?
Feels good. It was good to have that year to kind of see what the market enjoys seeing, what works educationally on campus, develop relationships on and off campus here in the community. So actually my first performance booking was the Steve Martin performance that we did in May. We were able to grab that at the end. But yes, this is my first season. I'm really excited about it, and I think the community is excited as well. We've started pre-sales with our membership in the last 2 weeks, and there's some really excited people in our community.
Well, what kind of changes have you made to the program, or enhancements to it?
So we are doing more events in the fall. We actually have 3 events this year in the fall. And our educational programs have been expanded. That was one of the things that I really wanted to get a hold of. And so we have residency work this year, which is something that we really haven't done before. So for instance, we have Terry O'Connor, who is a Doris Duke Performing Artist winner this year, and he's coming in for 4 days and working with our dance students, and then his company will come in and perform the next day. So we have some other artists that are doing the same thing, 8th Blackbird, Kathy Matea. So that's really what we're looking at doing, is providing not just one master class, but providing that immersion on campus for our students.
So you've started to go through a little bit of the list. Perhaps you can tell us the highlights for the season.
Yeah, we have some great things. Starting with creative writing, we are very fortunate to have such an amazing creative writing program here at Florida State, and we're bringing back 3 alumni. Adam Johnson will be here in September, who is the 2013 Pulitzer Prize winner for fiction, and Matt Bondurant and Jane Springer will also be here in February as a part of the festival. With our classical music series, it's been 31 years since Itzhak Perlman has been on campus, and we're excited to have him in the newly renovated Ruby Diamond Concert Hall with the Florida State University Symphony Orchestra. 8th Blackbird will come in and do a performance and also some master class work. Nicola Benedetti, who is a rising star of the violin, will be here as well, and the reigning virtuosos of male choirs, Chanticleer, will be here in April.
All right, now there's theater as well.
So with theater, we typically like to do something at Turner Auditorium with TCC, and this year will be The Graduate. We're partnering with our outstanding theater program at Florida State and producing Monty Python's Spamalot for a 3-week run. And the big act in our theater series this year is comedian Lewis Black. He will be here February 16th. Our roots music is something that a lot of our residents here in Tallahassee enjoy. We have Clint Black in September, the country music superstar, and Kathy Mattea as well, both who recently have performed at the Grand Ole Opry. We get them here in Tallahassee. The Irish Rovers, who is one of the most popular Irish bands in the country, are actually touring their last farewell tour of the United States and will be here February 7th. And then our first performance at the Goodwood Museum in their Carriage House, Becca Stevens Band will be performing on April 22nd. And with dance, we're very excited to have 2 Doris Duke award-winning artists performing with our dance program at Florida State. Terry O'Connor, who I mentioned before, will be here working with our students and then performing on October 4th. And then February 11th and 12th, Jalwe Willajo Zolar, our outstanding faculty member in the College of Visual Arts, Theater, and Dance in the dance department, will be bringing her company, the Urban Bushwomen, here to perform.
And you also have jazz and blues.
Yeah, jazz and blues is a big thing here in Tallahassee. The Spring Quartet featuring Esperanza Spalding, the New York Voices with our FSU Vocal Jazz Ensemble, blues guitarist Johnny Lang, jazz guitarist and jazz vocalist Nina Freelon and Earl Clue, and the Latin Jazz Band of Pancho Sanchez will be here on February 12th.
Now, there are annual events that everybody always looks forward to as well.
There are great annual events here, and Jeffrey Gilmore, who is the Chief Creative Officer of the Tribeca Film Festival, will be here again for his 7th year, but this is the first year that we are actually going to be performing his movie selection in Ruby Diamond Concert Hall. So we're very excited about that. There are a lot of people that had to miss that because we had to have it in our Student Life Cinema, which only held 370, and now being in Ruby Diamond, I think we'll be able to accommodate more people. We also partner with the Museum of Fine Arts with an annual exhibit, have the free day at the Tallahassee Museum, which is the Saturday Matinee of the Arts, and of course, everyone's favorite, the College of Music band programs, PRISM.
I love PRISM. That's always a good one.
It is.
So we get to show films in Ruby Diamond because we bought the equipment associated with the Veterans Film Festival.
Absolutely.
So this is a whole new opportunity for us.
Whole new opportunity to be able to have the Veterans Film Festival, 7 days of opening nights, as well as other performances that our film school does. It's just fantastic.
I'm excited about this because there is a limited amount of space in previous years.
Correct.
And now will be pretty much almost anybody who wants to go see it will be able to see it. Now, okay, any clue on what we're gonna get to see?
I wish I could tell you. Last year, I actually knew about 2 weeks ahead of time, which they told me was the first time that they ever let us know. But I think this year they're going to be a little bit more guarded about it because it's in Ruby Diamond. So.
And not because you spilled the beans
Oh
last
no,
year.
I was pretty good about keeping it to myself.
Good.
Yes.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
Well, how do you, with all the different performers that are coming in there, how does the selection process work? Because there's a lot of them.
There is. So the final decision rests with me in my office, but it is a collaborative effort. I sit down and talk with students about things that they would like to see. I talk to our community, our sponsors, our ticket buyers. People stop me in the grocery store and say, I want to see this. So it's one of those things that you have to have an open conversation, open dialogue with the community and make those decisions. But the decisions are being made now. I'm already working on 2014 and 2015. And so we're looking at some good things.
And is setting a schedule compared to the university schedule a difficult thing?
It can be, but there's such buy-in with our university and our colleges that we're all working together for the same effort. So we work hand in hand on that.
The performers, when they come here, also work with the students, as you had mentioned before. Is that required of them when do you say, okay, we'd like you to come do a performance, and we want you to do this educational thing, but are they required to do that?
It's not required. When 7 days of opening nights was established 15 years ago, there was an unwritten rule to have at least 50% of the artists that are coming here provide some sort of outreach in our community and on campus. And with that being said, we really try to stick to that or even try to do more than that, but they're not required per se. But most of these artists, they want to give back because they were in that same place at a college, university, or a conservatory. So it's important to keep the art form moving forward, and it also helps them to, teach others what their craft is as well.
And that's wonderful to have the educational component, and of course that's what we're all about. But is that unusual for those artists? Are they doing that type of thing at other venues?
They're doing that at other venues as well, on other college campuses. But it really is tailored to where they're going to be. So, for instance, like with 8th Blackbird, we tailored what they're going to do on our campus, which is not always what they do on other campuses. So they're going to be working with some of our ensembles, but also they're going to be giving a lecture on entrepreneurship in the arts, which we're collaborating with the business school and the art schools as well. So we're trying to tailor some of our educational missions with what's happening on campus as well. And entrepreneurship is a big initiative at Florida State University, and we're trying to tie into that as well.
What kind of reaction do you get from this from the students and the faculty and the performers about the educational component?
They love it. I mean, they really love working with it. And for instance, with dance, I mean, it's such a close-knit, kind of tight educational experience. And with them, they really just like to have that opportunity to work with someone that they might not ever get the opportunity to, or might get the opportunity to perform with later. So it goes both ways. I mean, they really enjoy it, and it's just great for everybody.
Do you hear from the students on benefits that they feel they've received, or feedback that occurs later?
We do. I mean, one of the great things is we videotape all of our educational components, and to get that instantaneous video recording of the students and how they feel and what it means to them, we have documentation upon documentation. It's just great. And it's funny too, because when they start opening up, they start talking about, well, my friend is a creative writer, was at the creative writing one, and I'm at the dance one. And it really is like kind of all the way across campus. So we're excited that we're not just sticking right there at music or dance. I mean, it's happening, it's a conversation that's happening across our campus.
What about the students who are not in creative fine arts fields? Are they coming to find these kind of events and activities and performances as well?
Yeah, they are, and we're moving that way as an organization or as a unit so that we can bring them in. So as I stated before, with 8th Blackbird and having this entrepreneurship lecture, that kind of helps bring our business students. We're also bringing Kathy Matea, who does a wonderful lecture called part of her My Coal Journey effort. And Kathy grew up in coal country in the Appalachians in West Virginia. And she talks about how her art form and how the ecology and economics of coal mining kind of married. And so with that, we're looking at bringing in the natural sciences, geology, and not just the music part of it, and kind of putting it all together. So we're really looking at interesting ways of bringing different groups of students together on campus through the arts and through 7 days.
You know, if you look out across the entire country, especially coming out of a recession, everybody is talking about jobs. And does this impact someone's career? Do we ever see that a student connects with a performer or with a writer and this actually ends up with employment?
We do that. So we have a couple of different ways through the arts. So for instance, Adam Johnson, who's coming here, who received his PhD in 2001, he was a Dean's Prize winner, which we always present the Dean's Prize winner on one of our performances. So he's gone on to have a pretty good career, so we're pretty excited about that. And we have dancers that are going on and working in New York, and we have musicians. But the one thing I think I'm really proud of is we have internship programs at 7 days of opening nights, so that students that are interested in doing what we do for a living can get experience. And most recently, I had an intern that just received a position at the Grant Park Music Festival in Chicago, which is one of the biggest music festivals. And I'm having returning interns coming back from the Kennedy Center this summer, from Brevard Music Center. So we really are seeing that our great academic units married with what we're doing, and internships and jobs are really, really paying off. So it's great to see that. And they're bringing great ideas back from their internships for us as well, so it's reciprocal.
What about the impact that the festival has on the community? Because it's not just isolated to campus.
No.
What kind of outward effect does it have?
Yeah, so we actually present performances in 10 venues around Tallahassee. Now, a lot of them are on our campus, but we're again at TCC, we're at Goodwood, we're at the Tallahassee Museum. We actually make our way all the way up to Thomasville or at the Pebble Hill Plantation. So one of the things that we really are trying to do is, yes, we have a campus focus, but we really want to get out in the community and perform out there as well. And hopefully, maybe next year it'll be 12. We'll see.
And so now, a practical matter, how do ticket sales work?
So one of the things that we offer at 7 Days of Opening Nights are memberships, which are donations to help us fund our educational programming. And one of the things that you get with a membership is priority ticket ordering. So we're in that process right now. And you can go on our website, 7daysfestival.org, to become a member and to get priority ticket seating. But if you are willing to wait, and the general public ticket sales start on September 17th. But I can tell you that we have some very popular artists this year that we're anticipating might even sell out before the tickets go on sale to the general public. And
Wow.
Those are Lewis Black and Itzhak Perlman. So if you really have your heart set on going to those performances, I would suggest going online, becoming a member so that you can get your tickets before the general public.
For the membership, is the early ticket sales the only thing the members get, or is because say September 17th comes around, I wasn't a member, but I'm thinking, well, okay, I don't get the early tickets, but what else could I get?
Yeah, I think the biggest crown jewel of membership is ticket sales, but a close second is parking passes. We offer parking passes on campus, and people really value those things like the golden ticket. But not only that, people can come to get invitations to go to events like our preview party, which was just about a month ago. They get invitations to go to some of the master classes and lectures that we're doing. So there are a bunch of benefits, and you can go on our website again, 7daysfestival.org, to see those benefits.
And there's a new category this year
There's a new
for
category.
young professionals?
Yes, we have a young professionals, which again came from a conversation with community members. Young professionals wanted to have their own kind of membership level, and so it's called Spark 7 Days, and it's for young professionals between 18 and 40. And we're having a great success with starting it. I know, I just missed it this year. And so we're having great success with it this year. And we're going to have some individual events just for young professionals. And so we're excited about it.
So describe how you pay for 7 days and the performances.
Yeah, so 7 Days is an auxiliary of our university, and we pay 3 ways: through our corporate and individual sponsorships, through ticket sales, and through our memberships. And we're very, very happy to say that we can do that and continue the mission of 7 Days through those 3 areas.
In other words, your budget's balanced?
My budget is balanced.
And you are completely
We
self-sustaining.
are completely self-sustaining.
Isn't
yes.
that fantastic to think about all of these arts programs and realizing that between the community and the people that want to watch and listen and enjoy it, that it's a self-sustaining enterprise?
Absolutely.
Thank you very much for being here today. We've been talking with Christopher Heacox, the Executive Director of 7 Days of Opening Nights. To learn more about the festival, go to 7daysfestival.org. When we come back, Dr. Barron and I will talk one-on-one about more issues in education.
A spirit roams these parts. A spirit of respect, competition, and academic greatness. Some call our spirit myth. Others call it legend. We call it Florida State University.
Welcome back to Issues in Education. I'm Suzanne Smith, talking with Dr. Eric Barron, the president of Florida State University. Dr. Barron, we've been talking about 7 Days of Opening Nights. What do you think of this year's lineup?
It's great. It's diverse. I mean, we just saw the full spectrum of everything from dance to jazz to creative writing to theater.
Is there a performance that you're looking forward to more?
Okay, so this is my plan.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to have my assistant put every single performance on my calendar. And then we're going to find out what is impossible for me to see because I have too many conflicts. And then whatever I get to see is what I really wanted to see. That's my plan.
What do you see FSU students getting out of 7 days?
You know, I've gone and watched a couple of times, and you know,
The actual the interaction between the students?
You see the energy that the students have, and here they are, no matter what their field or discipline, you know, if they're a creative writer or if they're in theater, and here they are with people that are highly recognized in their fields, and they're getting to have this personal interaction. That's got to give you this sort of inner thrill about how close you are to success, I think, in some ways. But also to be able to ask questions, to watch, to learn. It takes you out of the classroom and into the real world of the fine arts. And so on so many different fronts, this is just wonderful for our students.
Are you excited about the expansion into the different areas outside of the creative arts as well?
I am. So I'm excited about that expansion. I'm excited about the expansion in the number of times that we're doing it. And a lot of people don't realize this is even a part of the vision of the Ringling Museum in Sarasota. And so you don't connect that. But this whole notion of how it is that you're creative and doing the arts and are being in a university, and the idea with the Ringling is how do we bring more educational activities, and how do we bring Tallahassee and Sarasotans together associated with all these different performances and all of these different types of arts. And so if you think about that, this is an opportunity to grow to that next level where we're already an exceptional set of programs. And now we're just making sure that that educational element is there over and over again. That's what makes you a university.
With all the emphasis on STEM fields going on right now in the world, does it make it harder for FSU to justify doing a fine arts festival?
You know, this is what I tell people. I tell people, look, at different times, different doors will open. And we should be able to walk through them. So if we have a state and we have a country and they say, okay, here's science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and we really want to focus on that because we don't think it's as strong. Florida State wants to walk through that door and to be able to strengthen those programs. Because if we spend that effort strengthening them, it's actually easier for us to make sure that the other resources we have can help be directed towards the breadth of the university, including the arts. And some other day, a different door will open. And so rather than worrying about are we changing things, are we making it harder to support things, if you see an opportunity to walk through a door that helps strengthen this university, you walk through it because you know it's going to help you strengthen everything. My personal feeling is, you know, how would you ever want to see anything but the best for music and visual arts and theater and dance and for motion pictures? These are exceptional programs. And look, what did we just hear from Christopher? Between corporate donations, memberships, and ticket sales, they're self-sustaining. Yet this program is growing, and the strength of the performances are fantastic. And what they do for Tallahassee is absolutely wonderful. So that tells you that this community and this population values the arts. And so that's a signal that makes it very easy to continue to support the arts. Now, I suspect in saying that, Christopher didn't want people to think that he had all the sponsorships he needed. I'm sure he can use more. But what a powerful message that this program is growing and the community is supporting it the way it is.
Well, is this a good example of how universities and communities can work together to build each other up?
Absolutely. And I think one of the things that's kind of sad over the last few years, maybe driven by the recession, is that we haven't looked hard enough at how the university and the community and the other colleges and universities in the community can work together to make things better for everybody. There are a lot of different examples of how we might do that.
Well, is the Civic Center one of them? Because that's now transferred into Florida State.
The Civic Center is a perfect example. And you know, what I'd like to do is have people visualize a revitalized Civic Center that is got better sound system, that has better seating, that has better opportunities to bring in different events. So that beyond basketball, it comes back to the point where it's a draw, and the message that this community sends about performances is there in the Civic Center as well. And sort of imagine that, and then imagine a hotel right next to it, that's a garnet and gold hotel, and that is an opportunity for us to do a lot of things, but conference space that now brings conferences that can't come into Tallahassee because we don't have the right kind of meeting space. And now, if you don't mind me taking this one step further, imagine that it is now from that hotel and Civic Center 1 mile from there to the football stadium. And these are the two major venues for big events. And have them spill, if it's in the stadium, spill to the east down Madison, through College Town, through Gaines, and if it's an event in the Civic Center or conference, that it spills to the west down Gaines and Madison, and you have this sort of Madison Mile, and you imagine these restaurants and shops that is already starting to transform that area. I'd even go so far in as to brick between the two of them. Now all of a sudden we've got a College Town sense and a real attractor for people to come to this town and spend the night at a performance, whether it's a Civic Center or a football game.
That's a very large vision. Well, what is your vision for this fall semester? Because that's just now starting. What are we seeing new this academic year for the university?
The first thing is that 130-some faculty have come through the door. We didn't lose very many this year. That's a sign that we're, moving, but 94 new faculty members, and they're an exceptional group. That's the biggest impact, biggest change.
That's going to be great to look forward to. Thank you very much, Dr. Barron. That's our time for now. Please join us again next month for more Issues in Education. You can watch the premiere episode of Issues in Education the first Friday of every month at 7:30 p.m. That means you can see the next new episode on Friday, October 4th on WFSU-TV. Join us as we discuss the latest developments in higher education happening around the state and across the country. If you have questions that you would like us to address on this program, you can email us at issues@wfsu.org. Again, that's issues@wfsu.org. If you would like to see past episodes of this show, head to the President's website at president.fsu.edu. I'm Suzanne Smith with the Florida State University President, Dr. Eric Barron, for Issues in Education. We'll see you next time.
Financial support for the production of Issues in Education is provided by the Florida State University License Plate. Your FSU license plate supports scholarships for students who enrich and contribute to our communities. Special programs, gift certificates, and rebates for first-time buyers online at fsu.edu/mytag.